This is a lecture on virtual machines, and I will show you how to connect to the virtual machine at Kutztown that you will be using for some of your assignments. A virtual machine is a emulated machine. It's think of it as software, which it is software running. We'll talk a little bit about hypervisors and some of the software used for virtual machines. But it's a software that allows you to run various operating systems on one physical piece of hardware. Some of the advantages of virtual machines are that they are portable. You can move them from various hardwares, and a lot of different hardware support virtual machines. They're great for experimenting and testing, which is how we will be using them this semester. They're self-contained, so if you make an error or you do something that changes the system configuration, it will not affect anybody else's virtual machine. They can easily be reproduced or duplicated via cloning and templates, which is how the ones for this course are created. They're easily recoverable via snapshots, so if you do make a mistake, we can always roll it back or just restart it. They are scalable. They can provide users with root access to do experimenting that requires root access. And multiple operating systems can be on one physical system. Now, in order to access the Kutztown University's virtual machine that we will be using, you need to first log into the ACAD system. So I'm going to log into ACAD here, and I need to open another PuTTY session. So let me just reconnect here, restart the session. So I'm going to log into my account. So now I'm logged into PuTTY. Now what you need to do is use the SSH command. And SSH, again, PuTTY is just an SSH client. So if you don't use PuTTY, you use another SSH client. If you have a Mac machine, you can just go to your Mac prompt and do the SSH. You need to use some kind of SSH client. So now ACAD is becoming the SSH client. So we're going to do SSH to our virtual machine. And you will be assigned a virtual machine, so you'll have a virtual machine name for that. So we're going to do SSH and then the name of the virtual machine. I'm going to use -01, CSC 252-01. Then we do a lowercase l, which specifies this is the log name I want to use, and you will specify the username that is provided for your virtual machine. I am going to then provide the password that will be provided to you, and now I am logged into my virtual machine. So you can see my prompt is different. It's CSC 252 at CSC 252-01. So my prompt is my username at my virtual machine. And now when I look at my virtual machine, I have different information than on ACAD. So it's a completely different system. Just one other note about your virtual machine. Some commands that you will be doing require root access. If that's the case, you will have to use the sudo command, which allows you to run commands as root. So for instance, if I do a user add test user, it gives me permission denied. So I'm going to do a sudo user add test user, and then it will ask me for the root password again for my password for CSC 252. So I'm going to do CSC 252 my password for the root, and then it will do that command. It will execute my command. If I do another now sudo user add, it won't ask me for the password because I recently provided it. So it won't ask you for the password for every sudo command that you do, but eventually that password will time out and it will ask you again to log in and provide that password when you do sudo. Again, not all commands will require the sudo, but any that require root access, you will need to use the sudo command. To log out, you can do Control-D or exit, and now it says your connection's closed. In my prompt, I am back to ACAD. So that's a brief introduction to virtual machines and how to access the virtual machine that you'll be using for this course.